Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel where we talk everything SEO related. Today we're going to be talking about double EAT. EAT became a huge principle and people try to make sense of it. What is it and how to work with it? So today we'll be talking about EAT, which stands for obviously expertise, experience, authoritativeness and trustworthiness. And we will explain each and every one of them and how is EAT happening on the document, domain and entity level and how to actually get it done. So when we talk about experience, are we saying, do you have a first-hand experience with what you're talking about? So if I'm talking about casinos or casino reviews, I want to know that the person writing a review for a casino or for a game actually was bothered enough to open the game and play. If we are talking about betting, then the person writing this is actually a big fan of football. And when they're talking, I'm listening because I actually know what they're talking about. So experience comes with, if you are, let's say, hiring a content writer, make sure that what they're writing about they know, they are experienced with, and maybe they are even passionate about it. So, for example, I would never get an amazing betting writer write about casino games he never played. I would keep him on betting. I would get people that actually knows poker to write about poker because we can all chat GPT the principles of poker and how to play poker, but doesn't make us an expert in it, right? Now we're going to the expertise. So you really want to include experts in your content. You want to make sure that if you are talking to someone about SEO, they have professional background in SEO. If you are talking to someone about creating games, then be it a game mathematician or somebody who understands how the games come to life. It's best to have highly professional people with accurate and relevant background and experience to build the experience, expertise in this sense, right? Then we have authoritativeness. We all know what is authoritativeness. It comes to a lot of things, such as authors, such as links linking to us, citations around the web, having a strong brand that is everywhere, and as well that is our industry relevant. I'll go to that a little bit more, but let's move to trustworthiness. So the content trustworthiness comes from small things such as SSL certificates, right? But as well, it comes from accurate content, honest content, transparency. This is many times we don't actually do it correctly in affiliate websites because we push whoever is paying us the most. So many times we push blacklisted casinos or casinos that don't have licenses and putting them there as a good place to be. So maybe this we're trying to make money, I understand, but this is biting to our trustworthiness. So what you could do is have a blacklist of casinos that are not treating people right. Be honest that this casino group doesn't have a license or that this license is not worthy for playing in this market because you need to have a local license. So I think trustworthiness is where we are making most of the mistakes and where we are just hoping that the SSL certificate does the job. Now, it happens on several levels. One is document level. So how well is your content on that page, on the document, researched, structured, presented, and backed up with information, proof of language. Domain level, how this document sits with the domain. How well is the domain, including age of domain, name of domain, relevancy of the topic, and how this domain sits with all of the entity where you're trying to be, in our case, casino affiliation, so how it sits within the neighborhood. So we start with the document level. Document level, once again, has got tons of things. I'm going to name a few that are obvious and that are easy to understand. Content originality. Have you just copy-paste someone else's content and did copyscape to make sure you pass that and it's seen as original? Or have you actually researched your content, created a good content with original data or original point of view that you're adding to it? Have you done your research correctly? Now, research can be done in many ways. I like to do tons of things. I use my SEO tools. I use ChatGPT. I actually Google things. And then I cross-check the facts. because we can make mistakes. Grammar. Are you misspelling things on purpose to pass as non-AI content? Grammar is important on the document level. Length of a content. Sometimes short content is okay because that's what the page needs. Sometimes you need a length, very long content with maybe infographics or graphs or anything that explains something more, right? So if you are writing about betting, accumulator bets, maybe it's going to be a long content with how this works with this and how this works with this. If you're going to just write about how to deposit in this casino, is going to be do this, do this, do this, it's going to be listicle. So the content length is important, but doesn't mean it needs to be extremely long. It means to be the length that answers the question the best. Frequency of the updates. Now we all know about that this is important because you can go to content decay as we saw in a June update. You didn't touch your content because it's working, let's not touch it. That's a very wrong thing to do. Frequency of the updates, having a good, fresh content, existing content, and adding new content is important for Google and humans to see that the website is actually live. Internal linking structure and consistency of the anchors. Obviously, internal links are extremely important. How the website works together. You help navigate to humans and to bots. And then consistency of the anchor. So make sure you understand that this page is about this and this anchor is going to be always this. And this page is about bonuses. It's always going to be about bonuses. And this page is about betting tips. So it's always going to be betting tips. So make sure that you are consistent when you're creating your internal linking. Now, how diversified is your content types? Doesn't mean different topics that are not related to each other, but content types, right? So you have got a landing page for offers and you have got a casino review and then you are reviewing bonuses and there's different types that the page should have to sit well in all of the neighborhood. And then, of course, if all of this is done correctly, people will like your page. So the soft metrics come to play. If the page is good, they'll stay longer. They'll click through. The page that is supposed to educate them, the dwell time will be long enough for them to educate themselves. If it's to be converted and jump to another website or another page within your structure, then they should stay there just 3 seconds. And that's okay because you already created the content that does this, tells you need to stay or you need to leave, and then the soft metrics are measured. So that's on a document level. Then we have got domain level. So all those documents create a domain. And the domain level, outside of all of these documents being measured for their EAT quality, there are a whole new level of things that are being measured, such as factual accuracy. We said research. So goes hand in hand. Age of domain, obviously, history and longer domains that are around for longer are taken more seriously. That's why, sadly, drop domains work. Content relevancy to the topic and to the neighborhood. Freshness, again, frequency of the updates. We talked about it, but this is not just on document, but all together. Are you updating and adding new things and making things that you are up to date? Entity references. How well is your business known and verified info? Do you have an address maybe? Do you have your VAT there? How are you presenting yourself to the world? Or are you being secretive of who you are? Your backlink profile, very important. Are you just buying shitty links to help you rank? Or is backlink profile actually providing a link value? So not just to rank it, but to answer it. For example, in our industry, you would want to be featured of some of the industry huge websites that are talking about news and iGaming conferences, or maybe you would want to be featured on SBC website. And this would give you a recognition within our niche. So that would create a very valuable link within your backlink profile. Brand recognition. I talk about the relevance and importance of brand over and over and over. So I'm just going to say brand is important. You build a brand and then you spread the word around that this brand is good. It's much more difficult to kill a brand that you put lots of money to build and lots of thought to build than exact match domain. Exact match domains are much easier to be dodgy. So that's why brand is very, very important. And then anchors. How are you presenting yourself around the web? What are your anchors? What is the structure? And what is the percentage? How is your anchor pie looking? Make sure that you answer all of this to answer it on domain level. And now we're going to the entity level. So how well your website is sitting with the neighborhood. In our case, it would be, let's say, casino affiliation. You've got a huge name that you're competing against. You're going against Casino Guru, Mr. Gamble. You're going against Ask Gamblers. Massive names. They've done all of this work. When you look at them, their document level, their domain level, it's done next to perfection. So if you want to compete with them, you need to create something that brings value. Now, this is a very important thing, authentication of the publishers and contributors. We will talk about authors because a lot of people, when they think EAT, they think author, I'm done. Do they have verified credentials? Again, how is your backlink profile looking across the neighborhood? Like your backlink compared to this one, compared to this one. Mentions. Is your brand being mentioned around the web as a good or bad? But is it being mentioned? Do you have citations? People are actually saying, this is a good source and this is where I found this information, aka going back to the original content. Consistency. Are you around with the same domain and with the same product for a long time? Or did you change from selling jeans to selling puppy food and now you're doing casino? Is there consistency in your history? History is very important. Entity references. Once again, brand recognition, not just on a domain level that your domain is being mentioned here and there, but all together within the neighborhood. Are you known? Are you being mentioned on the huge podcast or publications? You want to do that. Now, authors, credibility within the niche. That goes back to working with experts that have first-hand experience. And then once again to the user behavior patterns. I misspelled it. I'm very sorry about that. And now, as I said, we're going to be talking about authors because we are all guilty as charged thinking we put a fake author here and nobody will know. And God forgive, Google is stupid. They will not know. So now I'm going to demonstrate how very easy it is for me to find if the person is real. And if I can do it, then massive technological companies such as Google can do it even faster. So faking authors is not it in 2026. But before jumping to that, I would like you to remember that we have got it measured on 3 levels: document, domain, and source entity. And each of them work together. And it goes from quality to the content, the quality of the backlink profile, to actually being a great name to work with. Now, authors. Let's go to it. If I want to talk about SEO and let's say run my SEO blog, I would love to speak and have some contribution from someone huge. I think we cannot argue against Barry Schwartz. Barry Schwartz is a massive name within our industry as SEO. He is known. He has got his own blog. He is everywhere, right? He has got a huge activity on LinkedIn. So when I say Barry Schwartz to any SEO, they know who he is. But if you don't know who he is, you can start to Google him and you can start to verify his existence. So if I ask ChatGPT, it will tell me, yes, he exists, and those are his achievements. He is running, he's founder of the SEO Engine Roundtable, he is CEO of Rusty Brick, and there are mentions about him all over the web. Would you like me to find more insights about him? I asked Google as well, who is Barry Schwartz SEO, and you can see search engine land, he's an author there. He has got actually his little carousel here, what you call it, a knowledge graph. He has got a Wikipedia page. He is all over Twitter. And if I would scroll down, there'll be more and more mentions about him because he is a real person. After all my research and my understanding, I am saying Barry Schwartz is a real person. He is an expert in SEO. And if he says something, he probably knows what he's talking about. And now I'm going to talk about somebody called Cameron Murphy, who is apparently writer for Irish Luck. Followers on LinkedIn is 10. Already, if you are in our casino niche and you try to be a little bit active, you would have more than 10 followers. As well, it says that he is being online journalist, content writer for Irish Luck, which is an affiliate website for Irish casinos, for more than 14 years. However, if I check the domain irishluck.ie, where he apparently works, that domain is not even 10 years. I have my first suspicions. He doesn't have enough followers. He is not active on LinkedIn, which in our industry, we tend to be quite active. And he's working for 14 years in a place that doesn't exist, not even for 10. I'm starting to be suspicious, so I'm digging deeper. I will check that he has got all of these things on his profile. Okay, so let's look into it deeper. Okay, so on one profile on his website, he looks like this, and on his LinkedIn, he looks like this. And I cross-checked the link, so I'm making sure it's the same person I'm talking here about, right? I am not an expert, but I think those are two different people. This person has got like grayish blue eyes, he's got brown eyes, he's got beard, he doesn't have beard, he has completely different hair. I'm thinking two different people. Barry Schwartz cannot be real. But again, I'm a nosy person, so I will start to ask ChatGPT and Google. And it will tell me that on this picture, it's a person. And it could either be a president of Council of Civil Liberties, or he could be a performer, junior Olympian in Cirque du Soleil, or he can do something in New Zealand, potentially a lawyer, or he can be physician in USA. So either or, it's not the same person, and it definitely in my research didn't say that he is a writer for Irish Luck. But I dig a little bit deeper, and then I see that there is a Cameron Murphy on LinkedIn that is not him, another Cameron Murphy that is not him, and on Reddit that is not him. So there are no mentions about him. He doesn't cross-check anywhere. I conclude Cameron Murphy, SEO journalist, is a fake profile. So if he is being accredited as an author for irishluck.ie, he is a fake author, and therefore the EAT quality of all irishluck.ie is degraded. If I can find in literally 15 minutes all of this information about Mr. Cameron Murphy, so can Google. So right now in 2026, no, you cannot fake EAT signals as simple as creating a fake author profile. Author profiles are important, but they need to be from expert people with experience. So when I check on them, I can trust them. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother. I don't think this is a good signal for EAT. It can be done in many ways. Fake authors is not one of them. Thank you for listening.